In this training, I'm going to talk about how to build MLM part-time. And this is a short, simple video, but it's not something to take really lightly. You know, a lot of people miss these little things and then they wonder why their business moves really, really slow. So the first thing you need to do is you need to allocate 10 to 15 hours a week. And, you know, a lot of people think that, 10 to 15 hours, I just don't know if I have that. Well, you think about it, that's an average of 1 to 2 hours a day. And everyone has that if you really think about it. Now, just to drive this point home, I'm going to tell you my story. I was starting network marketing at a time when life was very chaotic. I was working 50 hours a week running a law firm. I was in my last year of law school. I was commuting at least an hour a day. And on top of the fact that I had a ton of responsibility stacked on top of me. So just the mental energy that I needed to expend to do what I did was a lot. So I found time for MLM and I just budgeted my time, I scheduled my time, and I was disciplined. And I always had the philosophy that I needed to do a little bit every day. And I find that a lot of people just miss that little point. They take a day off or another day off, and it's kind of like the gym, oh, I'm going to skip today, and then one day becomes 2 days, and then it becomes 5, then 7, and then a month. And they'll try to catch up by doing a whole bunch in 1 week, and then they get burnt out. It's a little bit every day. It's staying disciplined, and honestly, sometimes it's doing it when you don't want to. There's a lot of times when I was building my MLM business in the first 2 years where I sat down at my desk and I thought to myself, I just don't feel like doing this. And whenever that happened, I thought about what I wanted, where I was going, what kind of wealth and prosperity that MLM would give me, and I just did it. And oftentimes, 10 to 15 minutes into that first hour, I oftentimes just forgot about how I didn't want to do it, and it started to become fun again. So just think about that. Don't do that thing where it's like, I don't feel like doing it today, because it's one of those things that'll just tear your business apart, because you'll be sitting there wondering why nothing's happening, and it's because you're not doing anything. Usually doing nothing leads to nothing. Now, once you allocate 10 to 15 hours in your week, I understand that everyone's situation is different. And on this slide, you can actually see an example of a schedule that a downline of mine created. Fairly new in building the business, struggled for a while of getting things done, and I finally said to him, you need to allocate 10 to 15 hours a week and you need to give me a schedule. So this is what he emailed over to me, and you can see he works full time, he does the gym, he does break dancing, that's kind of one of his hobbies, and he's got other things going on, and he laid out a little bit on Monday through Friday and is a little bit on Saturday, and he even took Sunday off. So, you can do that. You can take Sundays off or take Saturday off, whatever works best for you, but you just have to make sure that what schedule you set up is actually working towards your goals and actually getting something done. Now, you may be sitting here going, wow, Jason, big deal. This schedule is not mind-blowing. I could have thought of this. Yeah, you could have. But I can tell you I have 1 million downline members who never do this. So if I don't say it, you don't know it, you're not going to know that this is something you need to do. And more than anything, it's writing it down, it's following it, it's being disciplined. And I find if people write something down, or in this case, using iCal, because this person has a Mac, they have it in front of them, so they're more disciplined in following it every day and doing the little things. Now, once you allocate that time, that 1 to 2 hours a day that you're going to put into the business, you need to understand a concept of prime time and non-prime time. So during that 10 to 15 hours, that's prime time stuff. And you're probably wondering, okay, what the heck is he talking about? Prime time stuff is anything that's building your business. Making a phone call to a contact that's moving things forward for your business, making a call to a contact that's bringing in customers. Three-way calls do count. Why? Because that's the best kind of business building. You're actually bringing in sales volume through a downline and growing your team, and which is a business building activity. And you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping a downline member at the same time. That's okay. Now, a lot of people ask me, Jason, what if I'm training a downline member? Does that count as prime time? You can, but I don't recommend it. I devote my prime time to business building, volume growing activities, and I do training offline. Why? Because a lot of times with schedules, calling people is very restricted. And if you have a full-time job and you're working 9 to 5, you can't really call contacts beyond 9 o'clock. So my philosophy is when you come home from work or after you come home from the gym, you need to do your calling first, and then those non-prime time hours needs to be spent when people are maybe not accepting phone calls, and a lot of people don't after 9 o'clock. So if you're getting the gist of what I'm saying here, you got to kind of get organized in what you do when and what makes sense. So if you're listening to a training call that's recorded, I would not do that in prime time. I would devote that time to calling or doing three-way calls with people. If you're doing personal development, reading a book or listening to something, I would do that on your commute home. Maybe later on before you go to bed, outside of prime time hours. These are all the kind of things that you need to be thinking about, because if it's not a business building activity, you shouldn't be doing it in the prime time hours. So think about that and really write down a lot of the activities that you're doing in your business and designate them as prime time or non-prime time. And if you have to, take a piece of paper, draw a line down the center, and on one side put prime time and the other side put non-prime time, and start categorizing your activities in those areas. That will help you focus on business building activities during those prime time hours. And I guarantee the list is going to be really long on the non-prime time and probably really short on the prime time. Now, I want to leave you with this. Being too busy is never an excuse. And you know, it's something we say to contacts before they even join the business. If somebody is too busy, it's an excuse. And the same thing applies when you're in the business. And you know, when somebody says this to me, or they say, you know, I'm doing this effort, I'm spending this time and I'm not getting anywhere, a little trick that my business partner and I do with our downline members is we tell them, okay, are you really serious about building your business and growing? Yes. You sure? You want to be accountable? Yes. Okay. Then do this for the next 5 days. In your next business building week, so Monday through Friday, write down what you do every 30 minutes. And they're kind of like, huh? Yeah, write down what you do every 30 minutes, even when you're at work. Do your whole day. And especially focus on what you're doing when you're building your business during the prime time and non-prime time hours. Actually write down what you did. What people end up finding out is they end up checking their emails, surfing the web, acting like they're building, preparing to prepare, or shuffling papers. None of these things are going to build your business. So when you feel like, yeah, I feel like I have to spend 20 to 30 hours a week to build my MLM business, chances are a lot of that time is being spent wasted doing something else. I got a suggestion for you. Why not do 1 to 2 hours of solid work, no shuffling papers, business building primetime activities. Do all of that and then spend the rest of that other time you're wasting, spend it with your family, do something fun, have balance in your life. But don't short circuit your business and don't short circuit your life. All you're doing is creating a lack of balance, and really your business isn't going anywhere. So do that exercise. If you feel like you're too busy or there isn't enough time or you're not getting anywhere, that's what I would do.